Hey guys, this is Alicia Taylor, and you're listening to Interview Under Fire Deep Cut.
That's right.
All right, everyone, welcome back to a brand new edition of Deep Cuts here on Interview Under Fire, where we once again dive backstage, literally this time away from the musician life to focus on other artists in their world. This is your host, Sonny, here back once again, and today I'm with the talented Alicia Taylor, founder and director of the Las Vegas-based Darlings of Rock and Roll, known as Cherry Bombs. Alicia, it's an honor. Thank you so much for joining our IUF series today. Now, this is setting up to be a dominant year for you and the girls over at Cherry Bombs with the latest reveal of your live production of Macabaret.
Yes.
Now, let me begin by congratulating you on all the well-deserved recognition this has been getting so far, especially with that trailer that dropped, the memorable live performances that you ladies have exhibited over the years, your mini-series Girl Gang that's set to drop with the new season right around the corner. I mean, so much to unravel. I mean, let's take a deep breath here. All right. I mean, before we get to all that and beyond, like I'm putting you on the spot here, I think this is a good question to kick things off. How are you, considering how we're all just kind of collectively coming back out into the normality here again after 2 years? Like, what's life like in 2022 in Alicia? 2002, right? Go back 20 years ago.
I mean, I would have been 17, and but yeah, it's crazy, right? I feel like we've kind of all been in this weird dream, like this fever dream for the past like 2 years or so, and we're all kind of emerging out of this cave, and we're blinking and we're like, oh my God, what's happening? And we're kind of coming back to some sort of sense of normalcy ish. I don't want to speak too soon, and I don't want to jump the gun, but it's good to finally see tours coming back. It's good to see live events coming back. So I'm thankful for that. And yeah, man, I'm feeling it's weird. Overwhelmed is a word that I would use, but also grateful because, man, the past couple of years have just ruined our industry. And not just from a performer aspect, but from concert goers, music lovers, and everybody else too. Like, we've all kind of been down, and our hearts have been missing these live events and concerts so much that I'll never take that for granted ever again. I'll never not appreciate every little bit of it. So while it is crazy right now, and while 2022 is, stacking up to be an immense year for us, and I feel like I'm running around with a chicken with my head off, I'm also very thankful and very grateful for it, because it could all be taken away like that again.
You couldn't have said it any better. I keep thinking of 2002 now. I kind of just set the tone for this conversation. By the way, for anyone who doesn't know, I'm here in Dallas. We're about to get hit with a huge hailstorm. I don't know if you heard that warning downstairs, the little like that service announcement. So if the lights go out, I apologize. It's just Texas weather. Yeah, you may hear alert on my phone going off any moment. So just a heads up for anyone
stay
listening.
Safe,
yeah.
Please.
Hey, Alicia, you'll be here in less than a week. So I mean, we're gonna batten the hatches down until you get here. Now, obviously life as of late, right? You mentioned it, many of us are finally beginning to return to the stage setting, fans and artists alike. I mean, it's an exciting thing to see, I mentioned, but with, Cherry Bombs, Alicia, you've been at this for a while. I mean, I want to stick on the subject of like the touring life and the live experience for you personally, because you've done some extensive touring. I know you shared the stages with your husband Corey, obviously, bands like Buck Cherry, Steel Panther. You performed at Knot Fest, Force Fest, and I believe recently Shiprocked. Weren't you at Shiprocked lately? Now, here's the thing. How was Shiprocked? Because I know that was a dream of yours, being on this event ever since Cherry Bomb started. Can you walk me through that experience? If you have any words to describe it?
You're absolutely right. Shiprocked was one of my massive goals when I started Cherry Bombs. I remember seeing it, be like, man, I got to perform on that boat sometime. And so this became a reality, and it was just awesome. Shiprocked was a blast. At first I was kind of nervous. I was like, oh man, we're going to be on a boat. It's still COVID times, And when we got out there, everybody was doing great about wearing their masks, and unless they were staying outside, and everybody was having a great time, and the girls enjoyed themselves so much. And man, we just had a blast. It was better than I expected it to be. It was way more fun. And I feel really good about that. And well, the last day was pretty rocky. Like
didn't it rain?
Like,
I think I saw
it rained. Yeah. Yep. It was rainy. It was chilly. Corey performed the first night, I believe, and it was really cold. And then the last day, the ship was like, oh, I mean, it just felt like it was I was like, can this thing capsize? Like, are we going to go down like the Titanic?
That would be something I would think if I was on a ship. I mean, get me all the Dramamine that you have.
Oh, it was being passed around amongst everybody that day because everybody's getting so sick. And I asked the security guy on the boat, I said, is this, because he had been working all the cruises. And I was like, is this normal? Is this? And he's like, no, this is kind of rough. Like, actually, this is pretty rough. And we're like, oh, okay. And one of my girls was in the gym trying to work out. And she said she saw the row machine, like the seat of it, like move from side to side with the boat because it was tilting so much. And like everybody's glasses were like, shifting along the tables and stuff. It was wild. But it was a great time. And I really hope to go back again.
I think it just goes well with the music of metal. I mean, it's not a metal cruise without all that. I mean, you gotta have all the rocky things going on. And I think that was totally, I mean, it was so great to see you ladies do what you do. And, everything that you just described to me, would you say you have a newfound appreciation of the live concert experience now, considering what happened in the last 2 years? I don't know about you, but I was at a show like every week before the shutdown, and now things are finally coming back. Like I'm looking back. Yeah, I am grateful for so much, just to step out of the house and do what I'm doing.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Our first show back in 2021, I cried at the end of it. Like I was super emotional because I was like, my soul needed this. And I saw people in the audience crying too. And it was just kind of a weird moment where you're looking at each other like, why are we crying? But it's because of that. It's because you're like, you don't realize how much it means to you. Like you have fun and you love it from week to week as you go to concerts every week. But then when it's taken away for that long and you didn't have a choice in it, it's like, oh man, like you feel like a piece of you has been ripped out. It's like such an outlet for so many of us, emotionally, and to have that gone and then experience it back again. It's like, it was just a rush and a wave of emotions. So yes, absolutely newfound appreciation for it.
Having said that, the thing that makes Cherry Bombs is the live presence that is put on display, between the aerials and the dancing and the pyrotechnics. Alicia, I want to wind the clock back here for a second to 2016, maybe even before that, because for fans and listeners who may not know, if you could just briefly talk about like that defining moment in your life that led to the birth of Cherry Bombs into what it is today, because you've been on quite the journey. Like, how did you realize that this is what you wanted to do with your life?
So I started Cherry Bombs in 2013 after I'd left being a cheerleader in the NFL. And performing has always been in my heart ever since I was young. And dance is something I've always been involved with ever since I was 3 years old. And I knew I wasn't done performing. I just wanted to do it to music that I loved and I was passionate about and in my own way. And I guess, when I was in high school, I started my high school's first dance team. There was never one before that. There was a cheerleading team and I was on the cheerleading team, but again, I wasn't passionate about it. I was like, I just shake my pom-poms. I was like, I'm a dancer. And I started my high school's first dance team and we did dances to Rob Zombie and stuff back then. So in a weird way, it was kind of foreshadowing what I was meant to do with my life. And I guess I'm just good at forming a group of performers and bringing them all together and making a really great group of dancers. And the dance team is still going on in my high school. Like they go to state now and stuff. So
that's awesome.
They're still doing it. Yeah. I was like, wow, that's rad. And I just I should have listened to myself, I guess, when I was in high school. And I should have done that right out of the gate, but I didn't. I went to college and I did the ABC method. You graduate high school, you go to college, you get married.
That. Check. And then you that's okay. I feel like that also shaped you into who you are today. And, I don't know how often you take a look back at that time in your life, but you mentioned this just for a second. I was wondering if I want to ask this question because I have to ask now.
Sure.
Tell me more about you playing Slipknot in the locker room when you were a cheerleader for the Atlanta Falcons. Have you had a chance to talk about this? Because I am wanting to know about this story, because you mentioned the cheerleader part, but
yeah,
did this actually happen?
Yeah, it did. So during the season, each cheerleader got to have a day where they were like a DJ in the locker room, and they got to put on whatever music they wanted to listen to. So typically it was a lot of hip hop, or pop music, or like EDM dance music, stuff to get like the girls hyped before the game while they're getting ready.
Yeah.
And then it was my turn. And I was always kind of the black sheep on the team. I had the most tattoos on the team that I had to cover up with makeup or hide. And I wore black every day. And I tried to wear sundresses like everybody else did. It didn't feel like me, but I tried really hard, and then it wasn't me. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to put on my music. So I put on Slipknot. I think it was Before I Forget.
That's the perfect one.
Yeah, I figured, something, I mean, it wasn't, Snuff or Vermilion, but I was like, they'll probably like this. And they never asked me to be the DJ ever again.
I wonder if those girls talk about it too. It's like, remember when that time when we heard that song, or I forgot what it was, somebody was young. I want to know about like their discussions on what their experiences were like,
Man.
I also wonder if you had a chance to like follow up with them like years later. It's like, hey, I remember you played that song.
Oh, well, the girls that I'm still friends with today, They remember it, and they were like, oh yeah. But to them, they weren't that surprised. They always knew. They always knew that I was a big metalhead. Some of the other, because we had a team of 40, so it's big, right? And you have like different groups of friends in a team that big. So some of the other members that didn't know me as well, I remember when I left the NFL and I started Cherry Bomb. So I dyed my hair red and I started working on my sleeve, and they were like, is Alicia on drugs? Like, is she okay? And it's Atlanta, Georgia, right? So they were like, do we need to add her to our prayer list? And I was like, and I was.
Okay,
that's
funny.
Prayer list. And they really thought like I had gone off the deep end, but the ones that knew me were like, no, we are not surprised. She was wearing combat boots to her last like get together. Like, come on, like whatever. So
I love that you're also kind of also describing like every metalhead's experience, like growing up with their peers, right? Because they always look at you like, okay, this doesn't seem like you, right? This is what you do. It's like, okay. And then everyone kind of just like half shuns you. It's like, okay, now I see what's happening. But it's like you're describing my experience growing up, like in high school, it was just, okay. First off, for me, I mean, it was just, I was your typical guy. Like I moved to high school. Like I moved to like super dominant, like white country, like Louisville, Texas. Right. And look at me, right? And it was, and it was right after 9/11, one of the worst times to ever move. And it was just, and I'm over here like listening to bands like Korn and Tool, and then Slipknot came in, and all these bands and Machine Head, like late 90s, early 2000s. And it was just, and when I finally listened to, of course, Pantera. And I remember somebody was playing Domination, and I was on the basketball team. Somebody was playing Domination in the locker room. I was like, hey, that's a great song. And they were just looking at me like, wait, did that come from you? Because I would never talk about the music that I love. I was a shy kid, 20 I feel like with the metalheads, I don't know about you. I was shy, growing up, but I feel like I was able to really translate all my feelings and just like everything who I was into that music that allowed me to be who I am. And I felt like it seems like you had the same experience almost, being a cheerleader and then listening to heavy metal. Yeah, you don't really see that, but here you are doing what you're doing. I think it's amazing. I think it's really cool to see the camaraderie with the metalheads, and we're all like a tight-knit community as well. So
you're right.
But I love that your friends, your peers were like, you guys are still connected even after it's I love that experience. Like we're always making the experiences for other people, it's fun being a metalhead.
It is. Yeah, it is. And I think they found it intriguing at first, okay, this is kind of weird, but okay, you're cool.
It's fun to be weird.
I guess. Yeah. And you're just like, okay, thanks. And I remember, I think an article came out about me being a metalhead as an NFL cheerleader while I was on the team. And I remember walking across the field, because every quarter you switch corners of the field,
right?
So like quarter one, you're over here, quarter two, you're over there. So you rotate around the field during the game. And I remember we were doing a rotation. I was walking across the field, and as I passed a certain part of the stadium, these guys yelled out, they're like, Alicia, Meshuggah, Meshuggah. And I was like, yes. And nobody around me, like none of these girls are like, what does that mean? And I was like,
okay, check this out. I love that, because that's also bringing in the metal community into these games. It's football and heavy metal. By the way, they go together pretty well. I don't know about you.
They do. And it's criminal. And we could talk about this all day, but like Metallica needs to play the Super Bowl.
Yes, they do. I've been saying that for years. I mean, I'm not just me. Obviously, you're saying it now. I mean, even like the metal ambassadors. I don't know what Corey's thought is. I mean, Slipknot playing at a, I wonder about that, if he's ever been approached for something like that. Because
we were watching, we didn't get a chance to watch the halftime show this past one live because we were traveling, but we watched it on YouTube the other day, and he turned to me and he said, I don't think I'll ever get that opportunity. I don't think we'll ever get that opportunity. I said, I don't know if we ever thought Snoop Dogg would get that opportunity. I think there was a point in time where we said that about Eminem too.
We did.
And look.
And I believe there was a rock band that performed there not too long ago. It was almost along the lines of like not heavy, but it was like in the rock realm. I can't think of the name, but it was not that far back. They performed at the, is it Foo Fighters? No, hold on. I don't know. I'm gonna get blasted here by everyone. They're like, no, that's not the right band. I know there's a band out there.
I mean, I just remember a bunch of pop performers, because you had like Lady Gaga,
Lady Gaga, The Weeknd,
Beyonce, you had The Weeknd, you had so there was Coldplay.
And then there's Maroon 5. Yeah. But see, that's what I'm saying. If we're moving across in time, and heavy metal is technically the youngest genre out of all those genres. So my hope is still high. Corey, I'm sure you guys will get that opportunity. And hang in there. And it's bound to happen. And like I said, we could talk about this forever. I do want to get to something that you're taking a big part of is obviously staying busy during the pandemic, and especially doing now is definitely an important thing. But aside from, what you're doing with Cherry Bombs, has that time opened up new things for you that you have not discovered before about yourself? Because I know that I've heard whispers about, even today, opening up a Twitch account. You have a hair dye line that may be coming out this year. What can you say about that? I don't know what you can and cannot reveal, but I'm very intrigued.
I have a Twitch account. I have not gone live yet. I haven't streamed yet. I've been paired up with an amazing guy who is helping me, make all my fancy screens and transitions,
like the gamer tags and all that. You have that?
Oh yeah, no, I know. I got my stream deck.
Awesome.
I've got my gaming PC, because I'm a video game nerd. Like I love
me too.
Gaming. Okay, cool. So I got my gaming PC. And he's just making it look cool. Like so I have yet to stream, but I'm so excited, and everybody's probably gonna get super bored watching me just play, Assassin's Creed or whatever.
No way. Are you kidding me? Just watch the first day and get back to me. You're going to see. Okay. I mean, considering the repertoire of just the fans that you've built over the years, who would, Alicia on Twitch, Cherry Bombs. Yeah. They would want to see you like talk about the commentary on something like Assassin's Creed or Doom. If you have a chance to play Doom.
I do have the Doom.
Oh, dude, Doom. Yeah. That may be my next to Skyrim. That may be my favorite game that I played a lot in recent memory. But PS4, PS5. I don't know what console you're actually starting off with, but Xbox. Hey, all up to the Xbox users. All up to the Xbox
girl.
But, are you looking forward to this? Are you nervous? Have you done something like this before? Like as far as like streaming, because a lot of the musicians they've all the guests I've had on here, they finally took up Twitch, and they're deciding, man, this is a very beneficial platform, not just for what I do, but even for my music, because kind of cover all platforms in one platform, so to speak. But Do you have an idea when this will actually take off? Like, it's just like the anticipation's kicking in.
Yeah. So right now we're done with all the cool fancy stuff, and now we've moved on to my Discord for cherry bombs. And so now we're just finessing the Discord and making it public. Right now it's a private Discord for our fan club, Club M80. And so they want to keep their section of it private just for them because they're part of our Patreon. So we're kind of rebuilding it so that they have their own like private VIP area of our Discord. And then the rest of the Discord's public for everybody on Twitch and things like that, and fancy cherry bombs. But yeah, I'm super stoked about it. I'm going to be playing video games. I'm thinking about, dicking around and eating some fire. I pack everybody's merch items. So I was thinking about streaming while I pack your merch and talk to you.
Dude, do it.
Yeah, just come up with like all these different things. But yeah, so I'm excited to jump in. And, Corey and Griff, my stepson, they watch me play video games a lot. So like they sit behind me and like, they're like, oh, go left, or like, oh, go right. And I'm like, And we kind of make it a group effort.
Man, I feel like your stepson would really love that. That's really cool for him to see.
He has a Twitch.
See, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Have him even help you out to see, like, I'm sure he can give you like all the inside hints on how to handle. I mean, I don't even know how to Twitch. I'm sure all the young guns already know what to do. It's insane.
Right. The 19-year-old, he's my tech support. I'm like, Griff, I need you.
So what is your Twitch? Do you have a handle right now that people can?
I do.
Yeah.
It's Alicia E. Taylor.
I'll make sure I include that in the description. So Twitch, and then your hair dye line. How far are we into that?
I'm in the R&D process of it right now. So I'm looking to come out with a bunch of colors. But right now, the one I'm really honing in on is the red, because that's what I'm known for. So I'm duplicating my red. Yep. And I want to make it perfect. And so I've been dunking it in my pool. I've been laying it out in the sun. I've been seeing how it fades with shampoo and washes. And
I've been pouring it in my coffee. I've been
running over it with my car.
Everything. Like, you got to make sure you put everything to the test before you put it out there. Just so, yeah.
Yeah. And down to the smell. Like, I'm choosing the scent. So I'm really excited about it. And I started talking about it this year because I knew when I publicly talked about it, then it would give me the push to like complete it, and sometimes I need that to be held accountable. So,
I mean, and listen to what you're saying. Like, this is something that you could even like sell while you're on tour. You know, it's going to really pick up, like, pun intended, like wildfire. But it's really amazing to see what you're doing with everything that you're doing. But now we've talked about everything, right? Let's get to Macabre. I mean, good God, because this is also your first headlining tour, if I'm not mistaken.
You're right.
I mean, essentially, this is the next step in the evolution of Cherry Bombs. And it's one thing to put your art on display in the way it's being displayed on stage, like we've discussed, but this is with a storyline. And by that, I'm talking about the story of a man tangled in a delicious web of torment and retribution, loosely based on the folklore surrounding the goddess Pele and what happens to those who cross her. You had a trailer that came out, but here's the thing, Alicia, coming from a movie buff like myself, I did film school for 3 years out in California.
Oh, awesome.
Like I got to ask, where does the inspiration come from to manifest a story like this into a stage setting? I can't help but ask something like that. Do you just sit and just like, it just hits you? It's like, holy shit, I have an idea,
It does. It kind of does. It's kind of like writing a short story. You just start kind of thinking of one thing and then that leads to another. But this came about because I knew that I wanted to put on a storyline with our performance because I wanted to be different. I didn't want it to feel like just piece that were unrelated. I wanted a purpose behind everything. And so I started thinking and, grinding my gears, and I'm thinking, okay, I think I want it to take place in a saloon, like an old Western-y kind of Moulin Rouge, but Wild West type feel.
Yeah.
But then how are we going to get there? And then I thought, okay, what if we bring in a male character? I've never had a male performer before. So that's different. Okay. So we have a male character here, and maybe the male is what takes the audience through the storyline as him. And so then I had to think of how was I going to frame this whole thing from start to finish where it made sense for the audience, where they had to pay attention. And I could also throw in some little Easter eggs throughout that were going to be kind of fun for people to find. And then I thought, okay, well, how do we arrive at this saloon? And then I started thinking about my time. I used to live in Hawaii. It's where I went to college. And I remember them talking about this road that I lived on was a really haunted road. And there is this story of the goddess Pele, where if she's on the side of the road, she'll appear as a hitchhiker. And if you stop and you pick her up, she'll get in the back of your car. And as you drive, she'll just disappear. But if you don't stop for her, something bad is going to happen. You'll crash your car, or maybe you'll break down or something. So it's kind of a overall big story about, take care of one another, look out for one another. That's kind of the motto behind all of it. And then also a warning sign of the goddess Pele is sometimes before a volcano erupts, because she was also the goddess of volcanoes, and fire, you would see a white dog. That was a warning. So I thought, okay, I'm going to name our saloon the White Dog Saloon. And so that's why you'll see that throughout our storyline.
That's cool.
And as you're watching our show, you'll see flashes of a white dog appear, or we made a movie about it too. And you'll see like a white dog just come across the screen randomly.
Sunday can't get here soon enough.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
There's some really cool little tiny Easter eggs based on that legend that I threw in there that some people are gonna be like, what is that about? But if you know the story, or maybe you've dove deep into this, you'll understand why. So now we just took that and put it as a live production.
I gotta say this because I know you're starting your Twitch soon. I recommend playing everything you just told me. Just I feel like the mythology of that story. You would love the new Tomb Raider series if you play those games on Twitch.
Okay, yeah.
Holy shit. I mean, and I'm only also saying this because it may even manifest new ideas for you that you could even incorporate into your future production. But Tomb Raider, Alicia, you will love those games. The 2013, 2015, and 2017. There's a 3-part series, but they're all great. Okay. I have all 3 games. Anyway, cool. Shout out to Tomb Raider, but I feel like that story, everything you tell me, it reminds me of a lot of the lore and like the I feel like the Greek goddess histories within those games. But
I love that. That's super cool. Tomb Raider rocks, man.
I fucking love Tomb Raider. You're telling me all this, like the buildup of the story and the anticipation is kicking in for someone like me. Knowing the success of your previous live shows, Alicia, and the positive reception it's been getting, keep in mind, I have not seen Cherry Bombs live yet, but I will this Sunday. Okay. Again, it's kicking in. Is there any such thing as pressure for you for when you decide to sit down and write an entertaining storyline for a new production? Like how much of it did you have to scrap? Like I've written scripts,
right.
Walk me through this. How much do things change from when you first start composing on your story to where you end up finishing it? Like, do you have a specific message in mind from the start, or does it develop into? I know, a loaded question, but I feel like that's very important.
No. It's good. I like that question. That's
again,
awesome.
Film buff. I can't help but ask.
No. With Macabre, that one developed over time.
Okay.
So that one, I knew that I wanted to start. I started with the setting, and then I thought about the different characters that this man would come across, and those would be the different individual acts. And then I thought, what would those characters be? And then how did he get there? And how are we going to wrap it up at the end, right? To where it makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's kind of started in the middle, and then I developed the beginning, and then I developed the end. So I don't know what kind of method that is, but that's what I did with Macabre. I've written 2 other storylines in my head so far for 2 upcoming shows. They're very loose right now, but right now it's, one of them is a theme. I have a theme in my head of what I want, and I haven't quite figured out how I want to take the audience through it. Cause that's probably my next point in my process is I think as the viewer, it's kind of a fourth wall thing with performing, as a viewer, how am I going to go through this to where it makes sense for the viewer and without getting too complicated? So that there's some looseness there that I can play with. I didn't want a harsh, hardcore storyline with like specific dialogue for every character or anything. Right? It's almost kind of like an easy way to go about it would be, you see a lot of productions, they do a dream sequence, right?
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's a very easy.
Especially nowadays, we're seeing that a lot.
Yeah, like they have a dream and it could go this way, it could go that way, and it doesn't really have to make sense because it's a dream. So I don't want it to be that loose, but I want it to be loose enough to where a viewer can watch for a minute, and if they go take a drink or they have to go to the bathroom or go grab another drink at the bar or whatever, they can come back to it and be like, okay, I'm here. So yeah,
like everyone, right now, I feel like everyone serves a purpose in this storyline. They don't necessarily have to like, oh, like you have to like push yourself to have the character do this to find their motive, but they have their place in their storyline.
Everyone has their place for sure. Every character has its intention. But for the next two shows, I'm gonna have to wait and see how my brain works when I start wrapping around it a little bit more, because right now it's feeling very, I don't know if you've ever seen ballets.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
The last one, it's been a while. The last one I went to was Swan Lake.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So it's very much like a ballet in that, where I think that's a storyline. It doesn't have any dialogue in it because it's a ballet, but you understand what's going on via the costumes and the lighting and the choreography and the characters that come in and out. And you kind of get a feel for who's who, even though no one has spoken a word. And so that's the challenge that I have to come up with in conveying a storyline to a rock and metal audience.
Holy shit.
Without a lot of script,
Yeah. So, and I feel like no one's doing it the way you're doing it. I know you're a big fan of the theatrics as much as I am. I gotta ask about the production. Who's the team behind this on-stage production during your shows? Like, and how difficult or easy is the process in finding the right team to take with you while on the road?
Oof. Well, we don't have a lot of crew. So on this particular run, we have two. We have our tour manager, who's also doubling as a stage manager and side stage tech. And then we have our lighting director. So, and, of course, she's at front of house. So that's really it. So us performers, we have to double up as production for each other, where we help each other, set things up for the next act. We help set up our scaffolding set that we all climb all over. We help change out the rigging in and out for aerial apparatuses. So we kind of double up as crew. It's a lot of work, but we make it.
Are you bringing that? I don't know if it's a contraption like that cube type of, holy shit. Okay. I can't wait to see that. Okay.
Yeah. We're bringing the cube. It's aerial cube. We have UV tape all around it. And we put black lights on it, and the girls do a duo on that, and it's great. We're bringing the cube. We're bringing silks. We got straps. We've got an aerial pole. And then we have, of course, the angle grinders and the fire and all the other stuff.
I know you're performing at Trees, but man, I wish it was at a bigger stage. We have a lot of bigger stages here in Dallas, man. I feel like Toyota Music Factory would really, I would love to see Cherry Bombs on something like that, especially because I feel like there's no limit to what you ladies can do on stage. No size, I feel like the bigger, the better, I suppose. I mean, you've been to Trees, right? It's a normal size venue. It's been there for a long time. I've never been to
Trees.
Yeah. So I actually want to see what challenges you may face. And I know you'll conquer them, obviously, but I really can't wait to see what it'll look like, because it's one of the smaller stages here in Dallas. And I've been going to Trees for as long as I've been alive, but now I'm really intrigued. And thanks for letting me pick your brain on just the tangibles of all that, between writing and, the choreography and the structuring the production process. Keep all this in mind as I'm asking you. Macabaret, I feel like it also allowed you to tap into a different dimension of Alicia that you may not have the chance to explore before, because it was also unlike anything you've ever done with, Cherry Bombs. It's really cool to see. I begin to think of the different themes to your performances. Will this be the first of many with Macabaret? Is it too early to tell? How important are themes to you? Because I feel like you've never done this before. But now, considering the way it's looking, I mean, the future, can you imagine so many different other themes, like a winter theme or something like that? I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, but
no, you're right on it. So my next two shows that I've written in my head are very much like that. So yeah, I think I'm done doing the whole, I mean, so there's certain shows and I'm always changing our show, depending on what we're doing. So like Not Fest, right? We had a 30-minute set, and that's just too short for me to like give you much of a storyline of anything. But what I did do was I took pieces from a cabaret and I put them together, but they weren't in a storyline, but it was that theatrical, like the wardrobe was still over the top and the production was still over the top. So it was still those elements of it. I just didn't have like a running thing that kept you through it. That was more, song. Mm-hmm. And there were some transitions into the next piece that connected them and made them seamless, which was cool and fine. But I think you're right. I think I am having a lot of fun with this type of show, with this type of production. And to me, it just feels a little more elevated, and it feels like there's more purpose behind everything. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm having a lot of fun with it. So yeah, you're right. Macabre Ray was out of left field for me. It was challenging. It was a completely different thing. And it was an idea that had been rumbling around in my head for years before I did it. It was like, you should really come up with a storyline. Like, I wonder if there's a storyline. And I thought, that's going to be cheesy. And
not at all. It's okay to be cheesy. I wondered if you watch any movies that inspired you to go this direction.
So I'm a massive fan of the Rob Zombie films, and I'm a massive Quentin Tarantino fan.
Gosh.
And so when we filmed Macabre during the pandemic, because we released Macabre as a movie first and foremost.
Yeah, that's right.
And my videographer, Nathan Mowry of Kind Punk Film, he's my homie. He's been working with me for years, and he gets my style. He knows that I like that gritty kind of renegade kind of feel to film. A little bit grainy, not unlike Rob Zombie's films, with the kind of like more harsh filters on them, And then I also love the Quentin Tarantino like segues into things where he like brings up a title of a name, and like the whole screen freezes for a minute and then you keep going, like that kind of caricature vibe that Tarantino has. And so I wanted to marry those ideas, but then do it in this Cherry Bombs production way where it was a giant music video essentially. And we hit it out of the park with it. I was really stoked about it.
Oh gosh,
those are my influences.
That's like right down my line. I was just watching my favorite Tarantino film, just putting this out there, Inglourious Bastards. Like it's just absolutely love that film. One. And when they always show like a new character, it just shows the character, and then it plays a piece, kind of just really cements the tone for that. Like Hugo Stiglitz, for crying out loud. When they play that and they just show his face, you get what I'm saying?
Yes, no, that's exactly what we did. So in our film, when the title of the song comes up, when that song starts, it'll freeze and it'll say Can't Bring Me Down from Suicidal or whatever. Can't Bring Me Down. It'll freeze. And then it'll go again, That's
my favorite Suicidal song too. That's perfect.
Oh, cool. That's our finale.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me? No. I love it. That's my favorite Suicidal song. Holy shit. Okay, Alicia, this show is made for me. Man, thank you so much for just sharing so much about this. I can't wait to just see this show like in person now. It's really building. This has been quite the great conversation, and thank you for sharing so much about who you are, who Cherry Bombs are. I know we're nearing the end of our segment here, but I can't wait to see where you and Cherry Bombs go from here. Everything we discussed, and it sounds like you still have much left to put out there with your artistic vision. There's an undying passion here. Let me remind you, I got to ask, what is the most rewarding part for someone like you, Alicia, who is now at this point in their career, at the same time has been involved with so many other different aforementioned talented, brilliant artists, bands, people throughout that journey, touring, fans, giving back to your community. I know you do that. Your relationship with Corey. Do you ever just stop for a moment to take a look back at how far you've come?
It's so funny you bring that up, because I was talking about this with one of my dancers yesterday. And we were just saying how for me, it's very tough, and I don't do it near as often as I should. I'm so focused on where I'm going and what's coming next and what I have to do next and the next step of the staircase that I forget to look back and see what all I've accomplished along the way. Because I compare success a lot to a staircase where, you know, you take a step, but you're at the bottom of the step. And so now you feel like you're at the bottom of everything and everything's really hard and difficult. And you try and you work hard and you work hard, and you work hard. And then all of a sudden you're at the top. But then at the top of that level, you're just at the bottom of the next. And so you're like trying, you work harder to the next level and the next level. And for us, that's like growing the show. So it feels like, you know, we took the show to this level and it has all this great production in it. And we've mastered it. And now we're kicking ass and we're winning hearts and minds at every show we go to. But now it's like, what's the next step? Like, how can we make it bigger the next time we come back? So now we're like back to square one. It's like, oh, you know, so it's hard. And I really have to force myself to stop and go, man, we are doing really cool things. Like we have come really far since our days at the motorcycle rallies, you know, when we first got our start, when no one would say boo to us. And I'll always be appreciative of those times and so grateful for those gigs that people took a chance on us with, because, you know, there are people who came forward and said, yeah, we're going to hire you. We don't know who you are. You're a bunch of crazy girls. But sure, why not? Come on. And I have to thank those people because it's a new concept and we're kind of forging a new path in this kind of rock and metal world that hasn't been done before. And all the steps along the way have been really big and massive and really cool. And so I'm eternally grateful for that. And I do need to take time to appreciate them more than just looking ahead.
And I think it's important also to celebrate the little successes along the way. I'm terrible at that, but even asking you that question, you saying what you just said reminds me to do the same thing. I think it's important to, it's easy to lose track of ourselves the more successful we are. It's important to kind of just push everything aside for a minute, take a look at it from the outside, kind of just exhale, just reevaluate yourself and go back into it with the refocus energy almost, you know? And I feel like we don't really do that. We lose track of where we are. And I wanted to give you that chance to talk about it. And I love that you mentioned all that, you know, I mean, you guys are doing fucking amazing things. And
thank you.
And I want people to know about this because this podcast is not just YouTube. This is on iTunes, Spotify, everywhere. And I want people to know about Cherry Bombs and the positive impact and really the, if I could say it, badass impact that you guys are having, giving heavy metal. And I guess people like us, like just the push, like saying, holy shit, they're representing us almost. You and Corey are metal ambassadors. I mean, let me just say that it's a fact, you know. Shout out to Jose Mangan from Sirius XM. Like I see you doing what you guys do. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for you. For so much appreciation to what you have done throughout your career. So
I wouldn't say I'm all that, but thank you.
But think about it. It's good. You're paving the way for the future generation. And I think it's important. I want you to keep doing what you're doing. That's why I started this publication. I want to give people like you the platform to talk about what you are passionate about. We don't have enough of that nowadays. Now it's just interviews. Oh yeah, tell me about this controversy, this, because that's what's appealing, but not what's real, what's connecting, why we are the way we are. And especially in the last 2 years, shit. And I mean, little things really started to stand out. So I'm eternally grateful. And so anyway,
well, thank you. That means a lot because it's cool that, you know, you're focused on the substance of
authenticity.
Of the artist. Mm-hmm. And that's really rad of you. So thank you so much. That means a lot.
No, thank you, Alicia. And obviously this has been a great discussion. Okay, let's relax here. That surprise I talked to you about at the end. Let's get to it. All right, we've been serious here. All right, let's tone it down.
Yeah. So here's been all over the map here.
Here's what I'm gonna do. All right, I love this part. So because now I have to reword some of these questions I'm about to ask you. I'm gonna do something here called the lightning round, which is just funny. There's lightning right outside. I'm gonna go down the list. You have to think quick on your feet. I'm gonna pick one or the other. I'm gonna ask you a question. You have to pick one or the other. Okay.
Okay.
You got this. Are you nervous?
A little.
Am I making you nervous?
I'm a little nervous. Yeah.
Some of them are simple questions, but some of them are just downright stupid and silly. But that's the fun part.
Okay.
All right. You ready?
Yeah. Hit me.
Let's go. Here we go. I'm gonna do a test question first. What's the capital of Nevada?
Reno.
Okay, that was a test question. Red or blue?
Red.
Vegan or meat?
Vegan.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Cats or dogs?
No, dogs.
Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones.
Mexican food or Italian food?
Mexican.
All right. I'm in Texas, so this is a big debate. Is it pecan pie or pecan pie?
Texans say pecan.
Oh, I heard.
Don't they?
It's always split down the middle. It's. I say pecan. I've heard half Texans say pecan, half Texans say pecan. You may want to ask the Trees audience. That's because it's always split. I always see it down the middle. I think it also depends on which part of the country you're from. I know, like in the Northeast, they say pecan, which is interesting, but out in the West Coast, it's the opposite. I don't know why.
So I was married to a Texan at one point, and they all said pecan. The pecan.
That would be that sounds more Texan, but you'd be surprised on how. But anyway, I love that question because it's still a debate now. All right,
I say pecan, but
high five in the air. I say pecan too.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna count to 3. I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3. We're both gonna name our favorite Typo Negative album. You got it in your head?
Yeah.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Bloody
October Rest. That's a good one. It was always
October Rest is great too.
Yeah, October Rest. It's always a tie between one or the other. I know you just wrote an article on Revolver stating your just the love you have for Typo Negative. I grew up listening to that band, so I know you love that band. I had to ask that, but shout out to Bloody Kisses and obviously October Rust, Typo Negative.
October Rust is great. I mean, Typo is just one of those bands that will always have an impact forever and ever and ever. I think. Yeah, I think
it's one of those bands that make you go like, "What is this?" You know, it kind of just sticks with you overnight. I didn't like Typo at first, and I was like,
really?
When I first, and then it's one of those things that just sticks in your head. Haunted was the song that actually got stuck in my head, pun intended. Okay. And I went back and like heard the entire album. I was like, this is amazing shit. Then I went back and heard it. But man, Typo, like one of the bands that just, it's cool I love that we're able to talk about like the bands that we grew up listening to. Do you want to add something to
that? And I think they still stand today, you know?
They like do,
you can put any of those albums on and they still stand against anything that's going on today and still sounds good.
You have a Typo song in the Macabre or no?
I don't. Ooh. But I had an idea for a show. I wanted to put together a Halloween show that was very Halloween-y and a little cheesy, right?
Yeah.
And Typo was going to be in that. But
and I'm really putting you on the spot. You can't talk about a lot of the stuff, but it's like I'm bringing it out. Like it's
okay.
My next question was Halloween or Christmas, so that's kind of hilarious.
Halloween.
Yeah, obviously.
Halloween.
Country or rap?
Rap.
Who would you pick to play yourself in a movie? I would have to ask that.
Emma Stone.
Oh, that's a good one. I actually thought you were going to say Margot Robbie.
No, I'd go Emma Stone.
Emma Stone. Yeah. That's a good pick, actually. All right. Los Angeles or New York?
New York.
I didn't hesitate. If there's a spider in your house, do you kill it or set it free?
How big is it?
Oh, that's a good question. This big.
So a massive spider. So in Vegas here, we have tarantulas.
Oh God, no.
We have tarantulas, and I didn't even know that.
We have wolf spiders here. Have you seen a wolf spider?
Yes, I have seen a wolf spider. Those are massive too. And if they're that big, like a wolf spider or a tarantula, I won't kill it. Because what if I don't kill it and I just end up hitting it and then it turns around and comes after me? Like I can't. And when I lived in Hawaii, the cockroaches are like massive.
No, okay. I have the biggest phobia for cockroaches. We can just we're not going there.
Yeah, they're awful. Right?
I'm traumatized as a kid from when I would open the shower curtain and a roach would like fly in my face.
Yes.
And I would just hide behind the couch for probably like 2 days when I was like 10, and my mom couldn't find me. It's like, what the hell are you doing behind the couch? Get back out.
Are they the big red ones?
They're the ones that scream. Have you heard those?
I don't remember them screaming.
They're like screaming as they're like screeching cockroaches. Yeah, no, that's like when I lived in the ghetto parts of like Dallas, Texas, and this was like late 90s when the summers were just really humid. Man, I'm getting phobia. Yeah, phobia for roaches. But
it's disgusting, right? And then you feel like they're on you all the time. Like,
usually the conversation is I would not kill the spider because it would kill all the other insects in the house. So I mean, there's always that. But
if it's a little guy, I would let it out. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But if it's a big one, nope. Nope, leaving it alone.
Yeah, and no to
roaches. You can have the house. I'm moving.
Right. These questions get more ridiculous. If Voldemort offered to give you a hug, would you accept?
Yeah, maybe he needs a hug.
Yeah, maybe turn around.
Maybe
Tom Riddle needs a hug, I think. I don't think he got one when he was
misunderstood, you know?
Yeah. Shout out to Tom Riddle. All right, would you rather be able to speak every language in the world or be able to talk to animals?
Ooh, talk to animals.
I've had some people say, yeah, I can talk to my cats, so I guess I could speak every language in the world. I talk to my dog.
Yeah.
So
Everybody talks to their dog.
All right.
What kind of owner are you if you don't talk to your dog?
Oh yeah, you got to talk to your pets. All right, last one. There's a time machine in front of you. I love this. It says the destination is the first concert you've ever attended. Where are you, and what do you remember the most about that day?
The first concert I ever attended?
Yeah.
Was, I believe it was a Cypress Hill concert on a mountain. And there was a concert series that the rock station in Seattle used to put on called Board Stiff. And it was on the side of a mountain, and you would snowboard and ski and whatever. And It was in the snow. Yeah, it was a really cool concept. I don't know if they still do it. But it was Incubus, Cypress Hill, probably a band like MXPX or something like that. Yeah, some old school punk. I mean, I was probably 14 at the time.
Do you have the ticket stuff from that day, or just like photos from that day, anything like that?
No, I mean, there might be some photos from a disposable camera that I could probably
because those were the thing, man. Those disposable cameras were the shit back then. When you had one, it was game on. Like disposable cameras, when you pick one up from Walmart, get them developed. That experience, man.
Yeah, you don't know if they're going to be shitty. Is there going to be a thumb in it? Like,
or just a dark one that just has one of those like flashes in the corner, and you can see someone's like dark face in the middle of like
nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing. It's like, oh my god, is that your face? Yeah. I have those, like just little tidbits like that. But man, Cypress Hill. That's the first show I went to. I'm trying to think. The first show I went to ever was Dimebag.
Wow.
2 months before he got shot on stage. I saw my first show was Dimebag with Damage Plan. One of the craziest experiences. I remember I went to school the next day. One of my really good friends, Raven, he is shout out to Raven. He was crying. Hopefully I can share this story. He was crying. I was like, why is he crying? Because his idol is Dimebag. Then I found out from my mom. She goes, hey, that guitarist you saw not too long ago, didn't he die on stage? I'm like, what are you talking about? And then on the news that night, and then like that just that really hit me like right here. But I mean, getting the chance to like even see Dimebag like on stage. I mean, just the energy, the crowd, just unlike anything. But man, a show at a mountainside with snow. Is that right? Like
yeah.
Alicia, that's quite the first show. I mean, I don't have many guests who have shows like that as their first show. That's fucking awesome.
It was pretty cool.
What was the name of the
Board Stiff?
Board Stiff. I'm just gonna have to search Board Stiff Cypress Hill.
Yeah.
See what
107.7 The End. We used to put it
on. Man.
Yeah.
Talk about a time machine. Would you take that trip though?
Yeah. I would totally
relive that whole experience. Buy yourself a drink. Like, hey man, this is me from the future. You can even recognize me when I was younger. I had like none of this. Like I'm talking like big, huge glasses, buzz cut, oversized like t-shirt that had like Pearl Jam on it. But
I feel like we all, have a glow up that we've been through.
Exactly.
And these teenagers these days, they don't even know. Like they all look like models and shit with like their perfect makeup.
They have Instagram doing what they're doing. I'm like, how the hell? Like it's just insane. Like we didn't get this shit when growing up. Like in the 90s, of course, when MySpace hit, I was like, oh, this is cool. Like we can actually write bulletins on whatever. Remember that? You had a bulletin on the side.
Your top 8.
And then you get to do like the webmastering. You learned a lot about webmastering, how your
coding, your HTML.
We learned coding when we're not in school. MySpace taught us how to do coding. And I still remember some from the MySpace days.
Oh my god. Yeah, like how to get your colors right and all your shitty songs.
It mattered. It was really it really was part of your personality. And I missed that. You had the top like 8. It was 8 friends, or was it top 10 friends. And if you weren't on their like top 10 friends the next day, they wouldn't say a word to you.
Nope. And that was like the thing. And then people started caring about the order in which they were in. And it was like, that was the official friendship breaker, right? If you remove somebody.
Did you ever have a Xanga? Do you know what that is? Do you know what a Xanga is? It was spelled Xanga. It was right before or right when MySpace started. Xanga. That started that whole like just the whole social media thing where you can like blog about what you want, what you listen to that day. Yeah. Webmastering also took in its effect, coding, but Xanga and then MySpace, and then everything kind of just went to history from there. I was like one of the last people to join Facebook. I was like, no, MySpace is the way to go. And MySpace is now have you seen MySpace these days? It's not MySpace.
It's not. I haven't looked at it at all, but I tell you now, Facebook is, obviously going downhill.
Yeah, and it is actually surprising.
Yeah, they're losing a lot of money.
Not surprised. TikTok. Do you have a TikTok?
I personally don't. Cherry Bombs does. I have no idea how to use it. I'm that old.
I'm not gonna get TikTok. I mean, people on the publications are like, "Hey, Interview on Fire should get a TikTok." I'm like, I don't know how to work this thing. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like we grew up in our generation. I kind of want to just stay there.
We're that old. We're like, there's a new platform and we can't figure it out. So
here we are, just talking about like getting old. But hey, keep doing what you're doing, Alicia. This has been awesome. Thank you. This has been a fun conversation. I can't wait to do this again in person. Probably not this Sunday. I know we're cutting it close, but we got to do the chicken wings interview one day in the future.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome with you and the ladies. It goes well with Cherry Bombs, with the hot sauce and the interview under fire, like fire, right? That's part of the whole spiel. Maybe do it after the show, not before the show.
Oh yeah, no, not before the show. I'm going to be like gassy. Oh,
have you tried the bomb sauce? Have you tried that yet?
No, but I've seen it, and everybody keeps saying to get it.
So we did one with a Metal Blade artist back in November. I did it, and I think I felt the burn for at least a month after. Like people do it in hot ones
up here
all the time.
Down there.
A little bit of both, because the band, we did it before the show. Shout out to Capra. That was the Metal Blade artist. We did it before the show, and 2 songs into their set, you can just see it on their face. They're just sweating, just like, and they're a hardcore band. They're a hardcore band, all right? So they go all out. Like by the second song, they were gone. And then like a week later, we're like checking up on on each other. Like, how are you guys doing? It's like, I think I'm on my 5th day of Pepto, but I think I'll be okay. It was bad. It was
the heartburn.
And the bomb was like the 10th sauce. Like we had 3 other sauces that we make in house. And Corey, actually, funny enough, my partner, his name is Corey also, he makes a hot sauce in house, like from scratch.
Yeah.
So
wow.
So okay. I don't know if Corey,
I'm down.
If your Corey likes hot sauce, let him know if Slipknot wants to do one like in the future. Does. I mean, we have it in our arsenal. So anyway, now
Let's do it. I'm down.
But I'm down too. This has been great. I'll let you go here. I know we've clocked in over an hour. I feel like we could talk for another 2 hours, but
absolutely. This has been an absolute blast. Thank you.
No, thank you so much. Do you have any like last words, just any shout outs, anything else you'd like to plug in for Macabre before we finish things off here?
Nah, just come see us at Trees on what day is that? The 27th?
That's the 27th. You have another day.
27th, yeah.
That's Albuquerque. I see it.
We do in Albuquerque. Yep. And then we've got Dallas, and then we've got San Antonio and Houston. I'm also going to be teaching a dance class on the 28th in Dallas. So a dance workshop. So if anybody wants to come on down and take a dance class from me,
if I can make that, I will. I've done swing dancing. Yeah. I've done swing dancing before, but it has been 10 years since I've done swing dancing.
Oh, fun!
You're making me reach down into like bag of tricks. Like, what can I like do?
But why not?
Where is it being held? The workshop?
That one is going to be held at what's the name of the studio down there? The Ruby Room. The Ruby Room Studio.
Is that on?
And it's not far from Trees.
Yeah, I think it's actually in Deep Ellum, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so too.
Yeah. But hey, I'll see you Sunday. Alicia, it'd be great to meet you in person. I'll be up. I'm also a photographer, so I'll hopefully get a lot of good shots of you ladies. And
awesome.
It's just nothing but really the sky's the limit for you ladies. I wish nothing but the best for you going forward. I'll see you Sunday. Everyone who's listening, this is the amazing Alicia Taylor of Cherry Bombs. do me a favor, do her a favor. If Macabre is in your city, I know hopefully you'll add more dates in the future.
Yeah.
I have 4, but if you're able to see it in a city near you, please do, because Cherry Bombs are doing things no other unit is doing. And don't forget to check out Girl Gang. I know the new season kicks off March
9th.
March 9th. Oh, that's 2 weeks from this Wednesday. So season 4, right? Look at all the stuff that you're doing this. I mean, talking about kicking things off and with a bang. I mean, I don't think that's an understatement for 2022, not 2002.
Yeah, this is not 2002. 2002 is not near as exciting as this year is.
No. But, and now I'm thinking about it, like we've been talking about the past a lot, going back to 2002. I wouldn't mind that. I mean, all the Jinkos and the
I was wearing Jinkos too. Yes, I was wearing Jinkos.
You wore those too? Like I was I looked so ridiculous in them. It was just like, Sunny, what the hell are you doing? Like, I wanted to be like everybody, you know?
Yeah. Oh, with those silver, I had the silver ball necklace.
Oh, did you? And then did you have the spikes too? Like on the some of them had the spikes too. And then just one day, I did the black nail polish, and I was like,
Ooh,
I just tried it because there was a group in the back of my Latin class. I took Latin, for crying out loud, and we did that. But holy shit, I don't think I've ever actually told that to anybody before. So that's
okay. That's awesome.
People are going to listen to this podcast and they're like, what the hell, Sunny? You got to tell me more about that. Anyway, I'll let you go, Alicia. Let's stay in touch. I'll give you a follow on Instagram.
Yes.
I'll see you Sunday. Stay well. Have a great tour. All right. Go all out. Stay safe. And I will see you on the road. Everyone is listening. Don't forget, you can listen to this podcast on all major podcast streams out there. Check us out on interviewunderfire.com. Alicia, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You stay safe. Thank you,
Sunny. I appreciate it so much. Thank you for having me. Can't wait to see you on Sunday.
Yeah, I'll keep you posted when this episode airs. It's going to be a thing of beauty. And tell Corey I said, hey, if he wants to do the hot sauce interview with both of y'all together, that'd be great. Sometime in the future.
Yeah, that'd be a blast.
All right. Take care.
Down. Thank you.
Bye,
too.
Alicia. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That's right.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to Interview Under Fire podcast. If you guys liked what you heard, please subscribe and share our channel. And please leave a 5-star review, as that helps us tremendously. If you'd like to check out more, visit www.interviewunderfire.com or our social media channels on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And finally, we want to thank you all for the support you've been giving us. Keep it burning.